2022 BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe Review. What's new? Wireless charging pad and other minor features discontinued. Part of the first 2 Series Gran Coupe generation introduced for 2020. BMW is notorious for filling in the gaps between its primary vehicles, and such is the case with the 2022 BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe. It occupies the space between the new 2 Series Coupe and the more expensive 3 Series sedan. Although it carries the Gran Coupe name, it's actually a sedan with a coupe-like roofline. It's also a bit of an oddity in the lineup since it's based on a Mini Cooper platform, though there's nothing to identify it as such, and it displays the look and feel of a legitimate BMW. The 2 Series Gran Coupe is decently quick and sporty enough to feel competent on a winding road, but around town, the ride is a bit too stiff, especially on rough pavement. It's also on the pricey side for this class, starting several $1,000s more than the competition. But if cargo room and interior storage for personal items are important to you, the 2 Series Gran Coupe does that better than most of its competition. That means the 2 Series Gran Coupe is fun to drive, has plenty of tech features, and also costs a bit more than the competition, which includes the Mercedes-Benz A-Class and Audi A3. The BMW is a solid choice among small luxury sedans, but the Mercedes and Audi managed to outclass it in a number of areas, as detailed in the expert rating below. How comfortable is the 2 Series Gran Coupe? The ride is a little stiff with the M Sport suspension and 18-inch wheels. Even so, you should be able to put in a full day's drive behind the wheel without much of an issue. The standard sport seats are soft and supportive, and the side bolsters hold you in place without being overly tight. The headrest is angled a bit too far forward for taller drivers. The climate control works well. The controls are easy to see and use thanks to dedicated buttons just beneath the infotainment screen. The dual-zone system kept the car even and cool on a bright sunny day, and the fans were quiet enough. There is a mild amount of wind and road noise at highway speeds, but you likely won't have to raise your voice to speak with passengers. How does the 2 Series Gran Coupe drive? The 4-door 2 Series Gran Coupe isn't as responsive or athletic as the regular 2 Series Coupe, but compared to other entry-level luxury sedans, it's relatively agile. The firm suspension keeps body roll in check, and the light, precise steering is quick enough to make hitting an apex or maneuvering through a tight parking lot a breeze. The gas pedal can be slow to respond from a dead stop, but once you get moving, acceleration is brisk and responsive. Our 220/80 test car needed 6.2 seconds to accelerate from 0 to 60 mph, which is a tick quicker than an entry-level Mercedes A-Class. The 8-speed automatic transmission is well-tuned and smoother than the dual-clutch automatics found in some competitors. How's the tech? BMW offers all of its latest and greatest driver aids, including adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking, and blind spot warning. Most of the aids are optional, but that's the case with the competition too. In practice, we were left a bit disappointed. BMW's Idrive infotainment system is relatively easy to interact with and offers both voice and gesture controls in addition to standard buttons and a touchscreen. It works well, though not as well as the system on the latest Mercedes-Benz models. Device integration is good thanks to 4 USB ports and an easy-to-sync Bluetooth system. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone integration is standard. How's the interior? For the most part, the 2 Series Gran Coupe falls in line with other recent BMWs. The dash is angled just slightly toward the driver, and most of the controls are well placed and easy to read. There are dedicated buttons for most of the controls, including those for adjusting the climate or switching to navigation or the radio. A few are out of sight, but you should be fine with a little muscle memory. The cabin is relatively roomy, at least for those in the front seats. The doors open wide, making it easy to get in and out. Rear passengers won't be as comfortable. The sloping roofline severely reduces headroom. Visibility is mostly fine, but the small rear window makes it a bit difficult to see what's behind you. How's the fuel economy? The EPA estimates the all-wheel drive Gran Coupe 220/80, which is what we tested, will get 27 mpg combined, 23 city/33 highway. That's 1 mpg lower than the all-wheel drive Mercedes-Benz 220 in all categories and better than the Audi A3. Our test car returned 30.5 mpg on our 115-mile mixed driving evaluation route, which is a respectable figure and an indication the EPA figures are realistic. How's the storage? The 2 Series Gran Coupe has a generously sized trunk and useful interior storage. The trunk opening is a bit shallow, but the liftover is low and there's more space, 15.1 cubic feet, than in most competitors. The wheel wells and trunk lid hinges don't intrude much. The rear seats are split 40/20/40 and fold flat for loading longer items. Interior storage is better than most, with big door pockets and a nice spot to put your phone just in front of the cup holders. Getting a car seat in and out might be a pain given the car's low roof line, but the car seat anchors are easy to access under plastic panels. The 2 Series Gran Coupe isn't the most fun or exciting BMW sedan we've ever driven, but it's by no means boring. On a winding road, the car proved competent and relatively capable thanks to a smooth powertrain and decent driver feedback. We weren't itching to get back behind the wheel, but we weren't ready to jump out after a day of driving either. It shines on looks too. The design may not be for everyone, but it's striking and it falls in line with the latest crop of BMWs. There are a lot of great paint options for the 2 Series Gran Coupe too. It's one of the few sedans we've driven in recent years that gets attention at stoplights. Is the 2 Series Gran Coupe a good value? The 2 Series Gran Coupe falls right in line with competitors such as the Mercedes-Benz 220 when it comes to cost and value. Its base price is one of the highest in the class, but it comes with standard features including all-wheel drive and a basic suite of driver aids including blind spot monitoring and forward collision warning. The price gap narrows when a rival is loaded with the same equipment. The warranty and ownership experience are even better. BMW offers 4 years/50,000 miles for both basic and powertrain warranties. In addition, the 2 Series Gran Coupe comes with 4 years/50,000 miles of roadside assistance and 3 years/36,000 miles of scheduled maintenance, better than nearly all rivals. The 2022 BMW 2 Series Gran Coupe comes in 3 versions: 220/80, 220/80 xDrive, and the high-performance M235i xDrive. Front-wheel drive is standard on the 220/80, while the other 2 trim levels use xDrive, BMW's name for all-wheel drive. An 8-speed automatic transmission is standard on all 3 models. For most drivers, the base 220/80 will be more than adequate in terms of performance. If you live in an area with cold and wet weather, you may want to upgrade to the all-wheel drive version. And while the M235i might entice more spirited drivers, we'd steer them toward the lively 2 Series Coupe instead. Pros: strong performance from the base engine. Similar technology as more expensive BMW models. Athletic handling. Generous list of standard features. Cons: backseat lacks headroom for taller passengers. Firm suspension means you feel the bumps in the road. A bit more expensive than the competition.